Coming up on Thames Today, we bring you London's next step in the green revolution. We see how abseiling hospitals and clowns can raise money for children. We ask, will you be rushing to get yourself a seat at the 2012 Olympics? And how are you getting involved in Red Nose Day? All this and a lot more to come. These are your issues, this is your London, this is Thames Today. Good afternoon, welcome to Thames Today. I'm Jamie Hannon. Over the next 20 minutes, I'll be delivering all the local issues that matter to you. So let's kick off the show by sticking up our green thumbs to the new instalment in the eco-revolution for London, the electric car. Our reporter Russell Fleming brings us up to speed.
We all know that fuel and other such inhibiting motoring prices are on the way up. And with no immediate change or reduction in sight, the cost of you running a car in London is becoming increasingly expensive. But what if there is a way around this?
This is a plug. It's not for a Hoover or any other form of domestic appliance. It's actually for a car. And Greenwich Council has recently started an eco drive by actively installing these rather funky looking eco posts on their roads. Each post costs around £3,000 and is partly funded by Greenwich Council, Transport for London and other companies such as EDF Energy.
So, what is it all for? Well, London has one of the highest levels of air pollution in Europe, having already exceeded its legal limit of 35 bad air days a year, which has been imposed by the European Union. But how do you become part of this electric revolution?
Well, first you need an electric car, such as a perfect example here, a G-Wiz, an internet connection and the willingness to part with the annual fee of £100. This grants you unlimited access and use of any of the electric car charging points that are now available across London. How long have you had your G-Wiz?
It's coming up to 2 years now. About that time 2 years ago I needed to replace a car, and a friend of mine had one of these and recommended it.
And is that what persuaded you to move over to electric?
Partly. I went for a test drive and was quite impressed with the results, plus the fact that it's fairly cheap to run, free road tax, free congestion charge in London, free parking in London.
Yeah.
So, all in all,
so it's got its advantages there.
Yes, definitely.
And how much does a G-Wiz possibly sort of overall cost in sort of price terms?
Approximately about 9,000 to buy new.
Yeah.
And then the running costs after that, you've got your insurance obviously, which is about the Group A insurance.
Yeah.
And then the cost of electricity for charging it, which they say it's about 80p to charge it, I think.
Yeah.
Home supply, or you come to a place like this. The purchase a key to operate that, which costs £30 a year. And you charge it here for 2 hours of time.
The introduction of these electric car charging points throughout London has also allowed owning an electric vehicle in the capital all the more easier. Being exempt from road tax and congestion charge, the savings made by moving to electric are truly significant. Not to mention what is gained by not having to pay for fuel. But it's not just councils who are getting in on the action.
Businesses such as supermarket Sainsbury's have also been recently installing car charging points in their car parks across London. They conveniently provide you with cheap, clean energy while you do your shopping. But is the electric car here to stay? Only time will tell. I'm Russell Fleming, back to you in the studio.
Thank you for that report. It seems the electric car is becoming a viable alternative mode of transport. Now, it's not just people who are getting involved, celebrities are as well. Earlier we caught up with celebrity comedian Marcus Brigstock, an avid Green Party supporter, to see what his views on the issue are.
Of eco-electric cars.
Well, there's a great documentary called Who Killed the Electric Car? Which is fascinating. It's very interesting anyway, but what's really fascinating is that there were really good functioning electric cars available in the United States. They were then, some legislation changed and they were withdrawn But the people who had them on hire purchase wanted to buy them. They said, we'll buy them at pretty much any cost. But the company that made them said, no, we are withdrawing them all. And not only did they withdraw them, they destroyed every single one. There's one of these cars left, but none of the engine technology, the battery technology, none of it exists. And no one has found the missing electric cars. And there were lots of them. So there was a plot, conspiracy theory or not, there was a plot to destroy it as an industry, which I think is fascinating. I drive a hybrid car myself, and it's good, you know, and I think that a move towards electric cars seems like a good way to go, right? I mean,
Sainsbury's just around the corner. They're making a new thing where you can charge up your cars with Sainsbury's with their own little charge electricity for their car. I mean, what do you think about that? Do you think that's quite good?
I think that's great. You know, I think more and more places, NCP, National Car Parks, offer free parking to people in electric cars and charging points. You know, I think it's being made quite easy for people to have electric cars unless they want to travel more than sort of 80 to 100 miles, which a lot of people do, and they worry about that, and they're expensive, and you know there are downsides. Plus, you know, you need to charge your electric vehicle, and the power which you charge it with comes from somewhere.
Continuing this topic of discussion, we are here with Luke Bishop in the studio and Ross Lustard, who joins us from a central London location.
Hello.
Now, Luke, first of all, what are your thoughts on climate change?
To be honest, I think that climate change is inevitable. I don't think what we have done is going to have that much of an impact on it, because the world constantly has been shifting throughout history. I mean, like the dinosaurs being wiped out. So I don't really feel like we are having as large an impact as people claim.
Right, okay. I mean, Ross, is there any evidence against the fact?
Well, it has been proven that that it does rain more at weekends because of factories shutting down because of steam and that.
And more to the point, the electric car as well, is that really going to be an aid in the fight against this?
I think so. As you heard from the other reports, electric cars are great unless you're travelling sort of further distances. There are problems with them, but they're definitely improving compared to when they were first invented.
If you were buying your next car, would you consider getting an electric car?
Yeah, I'd definitely consider it. It would definitely be cheaper than buying petrol or diesel, especially as the prices are at the moment.
Brilliant. I suppose the same question to you as well, Luke. I mean, would you consider getting an electric car?
No, probably not. Possibly, it would depend what kind of journey we're doing. I'd imagine for around town it might be something that would help save money as well as fuel. But especially if you're doing long-haul drives, so it would not be so beneficial. Yeah,
why just around town, though?
I can't imagine the battery in it lasted that long. So, and it probably can't hit an extremely high speed on it.
Right, okay. I mean, Ross, when you charge an electric car, is that not still using up energy and also polluting the environment?
It is, but the electricity that's you're using is being generated anyway. Instead of specifically having things mined out of the ground or oil sort of sucked from the sea to create petrol, which is always sold for a market, the electricity is being created to power kettles and homes anyway. So you're using a source that's readily there anyway.
Well, you could say that the oil is readily there. Should it not just be used?
But the oil is only being used for petrol or diesel. It's not there for any other real purpose.
Okay. Thanks very much both for your views there. Thanks to Ross and thanks to Luke there. Thanks very much. Now, we as humans are always looking for adventure, particularly children, but unfortunately not every child gets that opportunity. This is where Action for Kids comes in, providing disabled children with a means of independence. We catch up with their latest fundraising efforts.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can. spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man.
I just saw an advert and wanted to do some charity work. Rang up, signed up, and here I am today. I've had sponsors from friends, family, work. I've raised just over £300 for Action for Kids, so it'll be good fun. I'm fairly nervous, yeah, as you'd expect. Going over the edge is going to be the worst bit. I think once you get going, it'll be all right. It was pretty scary, but glad we've got our feet back on the ground now. It was the first bit was the worst, going over the edge. Once you're over the edge, you pick up a bit of speed, and it's good fun the rest of the way down.
I think it was definitely worthwhile. It's something different that can obviously bring in a few more sponsors, and it was good fun for us as well.
It makes a massive difference. Every penny that everyone raises here today goes to purchase wheelchairs that you can't get on the National Health Service for children like JJ. So something like this chair you cannot get on National Health because it's just far too expensive, and that makes a massive difference to his life. He can get around under his own steam, and he's just independent, and you just can't put a price on that.
My name's Sally Bishop. I'm the founder of Action for Kids Charitable Trust. We provide mobility aids to disabled children from the age of 0 up to 26, and we also run a work programme, work-related learning programme for young people from 14 to 26. I started Action for Kids because I had disability in my family, very close to me, and I wanted to sort of put something back.
Now, we all know the Olympics are just over a year away, and this month sees the opening of the ballot to purchase tickets. But is it guaranteed that you'll get one? Claude Joseph Stayers is down in Stratford to reveal all.
With the Olympics just around the corner and less than 500 days to go until the opening ceremony, you may be asking yourself, how am I going to get to see the greatest show on earth? Well, it's quite easy actually. You go online to london2012.com, fill in an application form, and once you've filled in the form, you'll be entered into a randomly selected ballot. But you need to hurry though, because the application process finishes on the 26th of April. When applying online, you'll be asked to specify a range of prices you'll be willing to pay. This will ensure that you're first to know about the tickets appropriate for you. Also, if you miss the first round ticket sales, official resales will be available closer to the Olympics.
Well, I'll put to watch on television.
So why won't you go out there and buy any?
Why? Well, they're too expensive. And I think, quite frankly, all the best seats will go to firms and whatever, and the bigwigs will get the best tickets.
Thomas Cook obviously being the official provider for short breaks to the London 2012 Games, we give customers the opportunity to pre-book packages including hotels. They can also register for any event that they actually want to go and see, and our tickets are guaranteed, so therefore basically they purchase the ticket along with accommodation from any part of the UK.
I'm from the area, and it's something I don't really wish to participate in, to be honest.
I know it's a great big demand, yes, but I'm thinking if it's for the people and for the area, I think locals should be first priority to get tickets.
An informative report there by Claude. I'm sure it will see us all running for tickets. Now, Red Nose Day brings many benefits to those stricken by poverty at home and abroad every 2 years. Over 40% of money raised by Comic Relief is going to over 12,000 projects throughout the UK. Your money can do wonderful things, be it helping a baby in Tanzania or something closer to home. We sent Georgina down to Oxfam, one of Comic Relief's biggest supporters, to see how your money is helping the community.
I'm Maureen Mines. I'm the shop manager here at Bromley. I've been around since the earth cooled, really, for 42 years, and I've always been based in Bromley. Our headquarters are in Oxford, so most of our special staff are based in Oxford. We do have campaigns office in Victoria in London, and there are shops, of course, dotted all over the place.
Who does Oxfam help?
Internationally mostly, especially as far as red noses are concerned, it's Africa. But we do help people in the UK as well, much smaller programmes. But yeah, Oxfam does work in the UK. It's mostly with young people, sometimes drug related, sometimes HIV and AIDS, helping people get back on their feet, the same as any other place in the world, really.
What type of measures does Oxfam do to help with these causes?
Okay, well, the money's divided up, really. A lot of it goes on development, because if you help people to help themselves out of poverty, there's more money to spread around. Once people are on their own, standing on their own 2 feet, then Oxfam moves on to the next project. And it varies from simple things like explaining that you don't have to do what you're told to do. You can join a union, you can learn to read so that you can read basic things and know what your rights are. Or it can be huge disasters like the tsunami or Haiti.
How does Red Nose Day help Oxfam?
Oxfam helps itself as usual. We sell red noses, car noses, Dealey Boppers this year. Oxfam runs competitions, best window and so on and so forth. And we raise money through selling this kind of product, and it's ploughed into the big pot that is Comic Relief, and Oxfam gets quite a lot of money back again as a grant from Comic Relief. Only Oxfam is involved with Red Nose.
If you would like to donate to Comic Relief, go to the website www.comicrelief.com. Nature is not something that is very common in London, but in Greenwich there is a small glimmer of life in the form of the Greenwich Peninsula Ecology Park. We talked to Joanne Smith to find out what is happening in the park.
A lot of people who live in cities don't have a very good understanding of wildlife necessarily, and they, apart from enjoying the park for a bit of peace and quiet, and the fact they come here with their families, they're also learning about UK wildlife and the wildlife that lives on their doorstep. But we have children come here all the time who think all sorts of things. Most of them think we have crocodiles in our lakes. Lots of them have funny ideas about wildlife that they've learnt from the television and internet, but they don't really know what lives in their own area, and they're terrified of bugs. I think, well, we do work with schools, so we do a lot of work with different classes teaching various aspects of the national curriculum, but we also work with a really wide range of people. We do family fun events to encourage people to come to the park, especially people who know that we're a wetland and think it's all going to be muddy, and they won't be able to get through it without wellies, and they come here and it's a nice experience and they can go along wooden boardwalks. But we do work with youth groups doing practical work. We do habitat management work with volunteers. So we couldn't manage a park of this size on our own, and we need volunteers, but we're also offering a service to the community. Because this is part of a big government regeneration project, it has a very secure future. It's planned in as part of a housing development, so it's here to stay. It's not as we're very lucky in that we're not as threatened as some other areas, but it has to be, the issues around it are the funding for the long-term management and care, because although it's wild, it's quite heavily managed to keep the habitats in the state we want them in, so it does require wardens working on site.
Thank you for that wonderful report. I'm afraid that's all we've got time for you here today at Thames Today. I've been your host, Jamie Hannon, and I hope you've enjoyed the show. Join us again the same time tomorrow, and goodbye for now.
London.